Hello, my name's Malcolm. I'm Common Sense Candidate. I don't like to talk about politics. What I like to talk about is policy. I'm sure the great majority of things that our government does is driven by events rather than any ideological bent. And today we are going to talk about bank profits. On the Reserve Bank website, there is a graph called Bank's Profit After Tax. It's a graph that runs from the June quarter of 1991 through to the September quarter of 2023, and it lists the banking industry's profits by quarter after tax, so it's a pretty good indication. Now, as we run along through this graph, which I'm going to show on screen, we'll discuss what we see on screen, and you can decide for yourself if what you see is indeed fair and reasonable. So first of all, I've added some extra information on the graph. That's to do with the population of New Zealand and to do with inflation during the period in question. So we start off in June of 1991. First thing I've added is there's a blue dot and then a blue line. That blue dot represents 3.5 million people, which was our population in 1991. And I positioned the blue dot over the bank's profits, which is 124 million in that quarter. So you'd think if we have a normal functioning banking market, then that relativity would remain about the same. Now, as we progress through the graph, you'll see that every second year is marked, and because it's a quarterly profit figure graph, the graph is quite jagged. It jumps up and down quite a bit. If this had been listed out on a 12-monthly basis, the graph would be a more smooth graph. But anyway, that's by the by. You'll notice there is a grey bar extending across the graph that carries forward the 3.5 million population. And the gently rising blue line, or actually it's more of a turquoise line, that indicates our increasing population. As we progress through the graph, you can see what's going on. Gentle increases in our population and significant increases in banks' profits. So it gets pretty scary as we go along. Now, there's a dip in 2008 with the global financial crisis, which was caused by poor banking practices. And we see in the 2020-21, there is a dip caused by the pandemic. Now, as we get to the end of our graph, I'm highlighting 1991 population, now the 2023 population up 50%, and we have had some consumer price index inflation, which was 209% during the period. So really, I think that there would be the fair level of current bank profits. However, it's not the case. We now have bank profits of 7.3 billion per year, and I've extrapolated that from the quarterly data on this graph, which is a 1,470% increase. Now, I don't know about you, but this does not seem like a fair and reasonable situation to me. It seems that the banking industry, in terms of normal market function, is not working as it should be and is causing greatly increased costs to New Zealand citizens. Remember, these banks are generally foreign owned. They are privately owned foreign businesses, and like any business, their goal is to maximize profits. They will charge whatever the market will bear. That's just the normal way any market functions. And so rather than being served by this banking industry, our society, in my opinion, is being harmed. And what to do about it? It seems to me that the New Zealand government should be banking with a publicly owned New Zealand bank. Now, at the moment, Westpac is the main government banker, and its contract was due to expire this year, 2024. However, it has already been renegotiated and rolled over to 2027. So the next opportunity to rid ourselves of being totally controlled by these foreign banks is 2027. Whichever main party is in power in 2027 will have the courage to end our dependence on foreign banks. It's not right. It's not good for our society. It undermines our sovereignty, and it's causing huge costs to New Zealand citizens. It's just not right. In my view, legislation needs to be prepared in advance, either that the government banks with a fully nationalised Kiwibank and legislate so that Kiwibank takes over the government's banking. That will require significant investment in software and general capacity. Or the government of the day could negotiate and buy out the New Zealand branch of Westpac. Will it happen? Has anyone got the courage to do what's necessary? It seems to me we're not being governed by serious people who seriously want to do what is right for our country. To finish up with, I'm showing the graph taken from the Reserve Bank's website, and if you want to track down this graph, go to the Reserve Bank website and search for Bank's Profit After Tax. Thanks for watching.